Well, hey there, modern math teacher. Kristen here, and I'm so excited to be talking to you guys at the end of May. Whether you can believe it or not, we're at the end of May and the school year is wrapping up. I know for me personally, this is my last week with students for the year, and I am so ready for summer. With summer comes our fan favorite summer poolside PD, where we'll be coming to you twice a week with quick 10-15 minute episodes, all sorts of PD things that you want to know. We're going to be diving into math intervention. We are going to talk about 5 practices for orchestrating mathematical discussions. We will be talking about the best of productive struggle, BTC, things like that. We're going to be doing a book study again this summer in July, so stay tuned while we work out the details on what exactly we're going to be reading together this summer. I can't wait for it. But that brings us to today. Guys, if you're still in the classroom, I want to make sure that you can have rich, meaningful experiences and you can turn any of your lessons that you still have to teach into that nice real world experience in 15 minutes or less. Okay? So let me ask you this to get us started. Have you ever taught a lesson and just felt like, no, that just totally fell flat, right? Like you're teaching, it's the right content, it's a good curriculum maybe, but something just doesn't quite land for your students, right? Maybe they're just kind of going through the motions, they're doing the math. And today I want to show you how to take a lesson that would have been like that and turn it into something a little bit more meaningful. So we're going to do this without starting from scratch, without adding hours to your prep, and without needing a full project because we really just kind of are running out of time to do one of those. So if you're up for it, let's do this. In today's episode of the Modern Math Teacher Podcast, I'm going to walk you through a simple process that you can use to take any math lesson and make it more real, relevant, and rigorous, and do it in 15 minutes or less. Now, let's talk about the reason why a lot of our lessons are just feeling flat. It's because honestly, they're missing one of these 3 things: a real connection, a clear purpose, or meaningful thinking, right? And when one of those is missing, then you guys, your students are just falling into either just tell me what to do, or I guess I'm going to do this because I have to. And neither one of those is good for engagement, right? That's where our engagement is dropping, sinking, tanking. Ain't nobody got time for that. So what I need you guys to do is learn this super clear, repeatable process with me, okay? And it's not complicated. It is just about being intentional. So step 1, I want you to look at your topic and your targets, okay? So what are you teaching? What do your students need to know, understand, and be able to do, right? Things that we're always asking ourselves anyways. And then you want to check, does this hit procedural, conceptual, applicable? Does this access all the domains of rigor? Because if it doesn't, that's going to be your first adjustment. How can you add in one or more of those domains that might be missing to your lesson? Okay. Then I want you to think about your end product. What is it that your students are going to do to show that they understood? And I know this is not like a full project right now, right? But we're also not just having them solve problems. Are you asking them to explain the reasoning? Are you having them modeling? Are they making decisions based on any of this data? That's where your rigor and purpose is really going to start to build for that lesson. Okay, so once you've got those 2 things in mind, I want you to start thinking about little ways that your students can personalize this. So where in this lesson or activity do your students get to make choices? Where are they going to see this connection to something familiar, right? Going back to that prior knowledge, or where do they get to bring in their own level of thinking? Because that's when it's going to become more relevant for your students. And we know real, relevant, rigorous, that is our teaching trifecta in the math world. Okay, so we've thought about where our students are going to be able to make some of these micro moves, these personalized pieces, and now we want to map the pathway. So what do our students need to learn first? And what experiences are going to help them get there, right? This is where we are building in those 3 R's: the real, the relevant, the rigorous. Now, let's walk through what this might actually look like. Okay, so say you're teaching linear equations. And I like using this because I talk to 612 math teachers here, and everyone has experience working with and teaching some form of linear equations, okay? So here is a more traditional approach. You're going to solve these equations. You're going to graph these lines, and you're going to identify your slope and your intercept, okay? And it works, but it just feels very school, right? We don't want it to feel school, especially not in summer. So imagine this instead. Give your students a situation where they need to model a real world scenario, write those equations, and make decisions based on those results. okay? Or maybe they're going to be comparing some options or designing something or analyzing efficiency. All good things to do with linear equations, okay? And now, you guys, now they're going to be using the math and not just practicing it. It's the same content, but a very dramatically different experience for your students that's going to hook them in and keep them going all class long. And here's why this works so quickly. You're not creating something new. Nobody's got time for that. You're modifying something that you already have that already exists. You're taking your lesson, your standards, your materials, your curriculum, and making those small, intentional shifts. That's it. Okay? And one thing I want to call out, please don't overcomplicate this. There's no reason to. Okay? You don't need a full project, a huge storyline, or a perfect real world scenario. You need to start simple. One lesson, one shift, one experience. And remember, it's just those 4 simple steps and less than 15 minutes. I need you to start with your topics and targets, right? Then I need you to decide on the end product. How are they showing you what they know? How are you going to let them personalize it? That's step 3. And then how are you going to plan and map that experience? How are you planning out that lesson and activity for them? All right, you guys. Now, because I know once you start doing this, you guys, you're going to start to see what is possible. And then that's when your next step becomes, okay, well, but how can I do this more consistently? And how can I build this into my units? And those are great things to reflect on and think about as we head into summer and start thinking about next year, okay? And that's where we're going to head to soon. So if you want help figuring out whether you should be focusing on projects or practice real world applications or not, and how to make these decisions with confidence, I've got the free guide for you, the project or practice guide, available for middle school, Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, linked in the show notes. That's it for me. It's beautiful. It's sunny. It's Memorial Day. So thank you to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, and for your family members and loved ones who are out there so that we can all be here today. And that's a wrap for me today, you guys. I'm going to go enjoy the sunshine. Until next time, everybody, keep it real.